Hello and thanks for staying with us. Nigerian Customs Service continue to win more ground for the management of the service and also for the operation of customs development in Africa. Also, customs reports some border intercept wildlife animals expected to be exported outside the country without approval. Plus, more report. I am Igiseme Etienne. Stay tuned. The President of Nigeria has continued to support the management of Nigerian Customs Service in the field of border operations and also border management. He commended Nigerian Customs Service for implementing these reforms as approved by his government. It was represented by the Vice President in Abuja.
Customs chieftains from several African nations have converged on Abuja, Nigeria, to chart a path to dismantling inefficient borders, modernize customs systems, and commit to a unified trade architecture capable of reshaping the continent's economic future. Declaring open the Maiden Customs Partnership for African Cooperation in Trade (CPAC) Summit at the State House in Abuja, President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, said Africa's prosperity depends on deliberate reforms that convert its large markets and population into a functional economic bloc. Shettima told delegates that Africa must replace fragmented markets with coordinated policy implementation, stressing that every country must demonstrate political will, institutional alignment, and a readiness to deploy technology that simplifies trade.
When this administration assumed the mantle of leadership, we could only deliver our promised dividends by reforming structural barriers to trade and investment, removing bottlenecks that limit competitiveness, and rebuilding institutions for efficient regional integration. Guided by this, we unified the foreign exchange window in June 2023. We removed fuel subsidies to direct resources to critical infrastructure. We modernized port operations with 24-hour clearance. We adopted the Pan-African payment and settlement system to boost intra-African trade, and we prioritize non-oil export growth across key sectors.
We need to stir the consciousness around the role of customs in the AFCFTA ecosystem. The agreement is ambitious and necessary, but without customs administrations that are equipped, coordinated, and actively engaged, we will be building a house without a foundation. In those discussions with the Secretary General, a critical point emerged that I believe should frame our work today and in the next 2 days. And that is the fact that customs all over the world are the custodians of trade data. We hold the most granular real-time information on what is actually moving across our borders, what is being traded, where it is going, what the values are. This data, when properly harnessed and shared, becomes essential intelligence for driving continental trade objectives.
You are watching the program Customs Report.
You can't sustain external credibility without internal integrity. So this conference is turning the mirror on ourselves, not to criticize for the sake of it, but to honestly assess where we are, acknowledge what is not working, and together commit ourselves to fixing them. And that is the conversation that I need us to have over the next 2 days. Let me be a little bit more direct. We are good at putting on conferences. We know how to organize events, to manage protocols, and deliver speeches, and of course, host international delegations. Yesterday and a few days before proved that once again. But the real question we must confront is that, are we really as good as the daily work when nobody is watching us? Are we as coordinated internally as we appear to be externally? Because here is what I've observed, and I know many of you have seen it too. We do have excellent policies that don't get implemented consistently. We have clear directives from headquarters that get interpreted differently in Apapa, in One, in Federal Operations Bauchi, or in some other places. We have technology that works brilliantly in one location, and this same technology sits unused in some other places. We have officers with innovative ideas who don't have channels to share them. We have institutional knowledge that works out the door, and when experienced officers retired because we never documented what they knew. These gaps between being a good customs administration and being a great one. And if we are honest with ourselves, that is where we are right now. Somewhere between what you can call a good customs administration and great one, trying to figure out how we can close the distance. Our theme, Building Future Partnerships, Lessons from the Customs Pact Conference, is what we are going to be deliberating upon. But let me try and translate that into plain language. How do we take the principles we use to organize a successful continental event and the principles of good coordination, clear communications, unified messaging, disciplined execution, and apply all of this into how we run the service every day? When we were planning CPACT, we had weekly coordination meetings for 16 weeks. Every Wednesday, same time, same people, walking through the details. We aligned with AFCFTA Secretariat on messaging. We coordinated with Afrexim Bank on logistics and sundry issues. We resolved differences before they became problems. None of us was operating in a silo. And you may ask why. Because we knew that if we didn't coordinate, the conference would be a mess. And we couldn't afford that with the rest of Africa and the rest of the world watching us. So my question is therefore very simple. If we could coordinate that very, very well for a 3-day conference, why can't we coordinate that for everyday operations? What stops us from bringing that same level of discipline to how commands communicate with headquarters, how departments work together, how policies get rolled out? That is what we'll be here for the next 2 days to figure out. So if you allow me to walk you through what we are going to be discussing today. On the first panel, it is going to be about institutional cohesion. The real kind, not the superficial kind. When a policy circular goes out, do commands interpret them in 50 different ways, or do we operate as one service? When an importer clears goods in Lagos and moves cargo through Kano, are they dealing with the same standards and professionalism? The panelists, the first one, will discuss what is breaking that cohesion and how we can fix it. Because this isn't an headquarters problem or a command's problems. It is what we can call an us problem. It is for us. The second session is about capacity, and I will be very blunt. We're asking officers to do more sophisticated work than we have actually trained them to do. We have deployed Bodogu, we've launched and we are using AEO. risk management frameworks, and other initiatives. We are engaging in international continental trade policy dialogues. But how many officers received structured training before we told them to use these instruments and these tools? How many can explain to stakeholders why our procedures align with WCO standards? The presentation on competence-based human resource management is about recruiting the right people, training them properly, deploying them strategically, and evaluating them fairly. But it's also about officers honestly assessing themselves, their willingness to learn, to do what is right, and minimize the use of external influence that pressures the system. In the last 2 years of my service as CG, I don't think I have ever received the level of pressure that I've received over the last 12 months about promotion. And this must have to stop for you to build a virile and a dynamic organization. The more you rely on who you know rather than what you know, the less you will be achieving as an organization. Let me move to the afternoon panel, which is about organizational discipline and is related to what I'm talking about. Not necessarily punishment, but the discipline that makes sure that when we agree on a process, everyone follows it. So if we agree that promotion will be based on merit, nobody should go and call any politician to put pressure on the CG. How many of you have seen the same problem solved in 3 different ways, in 3 different commands, with none of you knowing what the others did? You only learned that the problem had been solved, but it was not solved through one standard way. How many of you have watched reforms implemented under one leader and then quietly abandoned when the leader leaves? We treat initiatives as personal projects instead of institutional commitments. Organizational discipline creates systems that outlast individuals, builds culture where documenting what you learn matters as much as doing the work, and ensures that when officers retire or when they are on transfer, their knowledge will stay back in the service. Let me therefore be clear about what I would be happy to see over the next 2 days. First, I want honest contributions, not people telling me what they think I want to hear. I already know what is going on fairly well. I see the reports. I think I also see the data. I attend to international meetings, and some of these things we learned about them. What I need from you is to tell me what is not working. Where are the gaps? Where do our policies break down? Where does communication fail? Where do we lose coordination? If you are a controller and the policy from headquarters doesn't make sense to you on the ground, say no. If you are an ICT person and the system is not being used the way it was designed, explain why. If you are in enforcement and you are seeing patterns that suggest that we need to adjust our approach, let us know. Secondly, I want practical solutions, not complaints. It is easy to identify problems. What is harder and more valuable is proposing solutions on how to fix them.
Customs Officers' Wives Association, COA, has unveiled the National Green Border Initiative to transform border communities into sustainable, eco-friendly hubs that empower women and youths. Speaking during the flag-off of the first Kowa Green Border Day on Monday in Idiroko, Ogun State, its national president, Mrs. Kikelomo Adeniyi, said this would be through tree planting and waste recycling.
For us to have a cleaner environment, the world is talking about climate change, the sun is too harsh. When you create so much emission, it will affect the greenhouse emission, and by that, it will thin out the ozone layer, and that's when you will continue to feel it. And you say, this weather in this place is not, it's because of human activities. Things that we do around us that is causing this. It's from us, and the earth is, acting up and showing us in respect of what we have given back today. If you make it cleaner, we'll enjoy free, good air to breathe in and all of that, and our environment will not be polluted. So I really appreciate them for showing us how to segregate our waste. So when you get back home, please endeavor to have different boxes for different ways. You can also make money from it. It's not just about talking about restoring our ecosystem. We're also talking about giving our women, our youth, green skills. Everything around us that they can make use of, especially our women at the border area, even those that are not at the border area.
It gives me great pleasure to warmly welcome the National President of the Customs Officers' Wives Association, KOA, Mrs. Kikelomo Adeniyi, and our entourage to Ogun 1 Area Command, Idiroko, on this auspicious occasion of the official launch of the KOA Sustainability and Green Border Initiative.
Adeniyi stressed that this would serve as a model for environmental stewardship and social development. According to her, the project builds on the recently held KOA Green Borders and Sustainability Summits in Abuja.
Tinkan Customs Command has hit another height in the revenue generation in this month. The controller says that his command will continue to improve on revenue drive and also fight against smuggling of consignment in or outside the country.
The Tinkan Island Port Command of the Nigerian Customs Service, under the leadership of Comptroller Frank Okechukwu Onyeka, has hit another high in its revenue generation. The command, which has continued to witness focused leadership from the revenue men, has also experienced greater performances in various areas of its operations, especially since the introduction of the Unified Customs Management System, codenamed B-Odogu Software Platform. The October 2025 revenue record, as obtained from the Office of the Public Relations Officer, Chief Superintendent of Customs, Oscar Ivara, shows the second highest revenue generation of the command, with the total of 154,384,834,050 naira and 93 kobo only.
We urge all legitimate traders to adhere strictly to trade regulations and make honest declarations in their import and export documentation. Let me see this opportunity once again to thank the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Wale Adeniyi, MFR, for his unwavering support, encouragement, and the push is going to the service and Tinkan Island in particular. We appreciate the unwavering support of our sister agencies, NDLEA, Nigerian Police, Nigerian Army, and other stakeholders in our joint efforts to keep the nation safe. We must also commend the media for your continued collaboration in sensitizing the public and amplifying the message of compliance and patriotism. To our gallant officers and men of Nigeria Customs Service Tinkan Island Port, I want to profoundly thank you for your alertness and professionalism to duty and to the service of our nation. Tinkan Island Command will continue to leverage on intelligence, technology, and interagency synergy to ensure that our borders remain safe and secure for the trading public that are ready as much as possible to abide by the ethos of our system. That's cooperating with us, playing by the books, making sweet and sincere declarations, and opening your containers for thorough examination.
The Semi-Border Command has intercepted wildlife animals about to be exported outside the country. The controller says that its men were on the ground to make sure that these consignments were not taken outside the country. He warned will-be operators of this consignment to stop doing this, or else the government will go after them. He asked them to continue to work according to legal rules as approved by government.
In a bid to further an unwavering commitment of protecting Nigeria's biodiversity and to uphold Nigeria's obligations under the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, operatives of the Nigerian Customs Service Semi-Command has intercepted 1 lion cub and 2 Patter's monkeys being transported through Gbaji, Badagry to Benin Republic. In a statement issued by the Public Relations Officer of Customs Semi-Command, CSC Issa Suleiman, the operatives of the command intercepted a blue Mazda vehicle with registration number MUS 743HA during a stop-and-search operation at Gbaji along the Badagry Seme Expressway. The intercepted wildlife. Upon inspection, the operatives discovered 1 lion cub and 2 Patter's monkeys being transported in the vehicle in clear violation of national and international wildlife protection laws. 2 individuals, Mr. Matthew Kofi, a Beninese national, and Mr. Nasiru Usman Gwandu, a Nigerian, claimed ownership of the animals and confessed that they had purchased them in Kano with the intention of conveying them to Benin Republic. The Customs Officers' Wives Association, COA, has launched a new initiative aimed at promoting economic empowerment among customs families. The program, which recently graduated 36 beneficiaries from the Federal Operations Unit FOU Zone A of the Nigerian Customs Service, provides officers' wives and widows with vocational skills, business startup kits, and financial grants to support self-reliance and household stability.
This initiative stands as a vital effort to uplift the families of our courageous officers who served and protect our nation. As we all know, the strength of our great institution lies not only in the education of its members, but also in the well-being and support of their families. The COA, in bracket, has long been a resilient pillar, ensuring that the wives and families of our officers are empowered to lead sustainable and independent lives.
COA National President Mrs. Kikelomo Adeni on Sunday emphasized that the initiative aligns with the association's mandate to enhance financial independence for customs officers' wives and provide sustainable means of livelihood for families of fallen officers.
They are not toys. These are things that can generate money for you. It's from sweat, it's from effort that we have been able to gather all of these things that you'll be receiving here today. And I want you to make good use of it. Please, it is for you to keep your home together. We have not given you the skills to now become proud or say, I'm now independent. I love women that can help their husband. I'm not a feminist by any standard. I like women that know what they are doing, but respect their husband first before any other thing. When you are doing what is right, there's no way the man will not support you. When you are not getting the support, you need to check yourself and see where you are going wrong. Maybe that will be it. It's not always about the man. I think it's on both sides. So please use this tool well and make a living out of it. I want you to be a trainer's trainer. You need to also pick up people that you will train. You have gotten this today. you have spent time, you have, invested your money, everything to make sure that this day come to a light. So I want you to do everything within your power to make sure that you make good use of these skills that you'll be getting here today. When you empower a woman, it's not just about empowering an household. You have empowered a nation.
She noted that empowering women is crucial for economic growth and stability, as it benefits not only individuals but also the entire economy.
Just before the end of this week's edition of the program Customs Report, we brought you a report where the Nigerian Customs Service has continued to receive kudos from Mr. President for a job well done. For me, Egiseme Itinye, thanks for watching.